Mm.
So I think that's another problem that we have with FI. It's basically there's no direction. We have the basic conflict between the ALF and the UNA, but there's no direction for that conflict to go. It seems like everything's all stalemated, and there's just a status quo that is there and can never be changed.
Mm. I mean, like, we've been saying about like planning and everything. It just you see, you do really need that direction for the players to be able to figure themselves out. And like with the original like FFF, somebody could make a comic and they could change the plot in that comic, whether they knew what they were going to or not. They actually had a really big impact, and sometimes even on the world, where they would create a place or an object or something important. Whereas now it doesn't
Absolutely.
seem like you can really do that with anything really but FFFR. I mean, I tried to get that kind of idea up with Khan, but I mean, I didn't have any real plot decided, but in the end, that was, the opposite issue where I didn't have anything,
Yes. Well, I think with FI, the world that Mad Mask has made for FI, it'd be entirely difficult to like create your own place, your own land, where even your own character, where you want to put out like the entire committee coming upon it like a pack of jackals. You know what I mean? Like it seems as if Mad Max believes the world of Asteroid is a mess, and he just wants to control it.
I mean, like, I can understand trying to, create some order to it, but it doesn't need order.
Fascinating.
Um, and I can definitely understand where you're coming from because I was one of the many people who argued against FI originally, if you'll remember that. I've let up a bit on that, but for the most part, the issues I have with it still stand. They're just not as big a deal. Um, I'd be willing to do something for it, but for the most part, I'm helping other people out with things like giving Zart a, character for his character if he wants them, wants them there, and giving that interaction because he has that neutral character he wants and all that, and you kind of need other neutral characters because at the moment there really isn't anything neutral going on, and that sort of thing.
Yeah. I'm not saying that I hate FI at all. I mean, if once Mad Max finishes the intro, I really would love to see it like fly.
Hmm.
And
I want to say it do
so, but
well, but there are things I disagree with, which is all I'm really trying to say.
yeah,
Uh,
I don't know if I really want to be part of FI at the moment. With everything going on with FFR and other things, I don't think I really have the time to create characters that I really um, would be able to do for FI. My original plan for FI was to have Charles Carroll as one of the side characters I made for FFF, have him in FI as sort of this police detective, as a police chief, and it'd be sort of a police procedural in the world of FI, where they, unlike the peacekeepers, they're more into the investigative portion of tracking down the ALF, and I really had this sort of V for Vendetta inspired character for them to face off against. So, but for most part, my enthusiasm for that has gone away.
hmm. I mean, it's one of the things I think that's going on is that with the whole, I think it got sorted out a little bit, but it seems like we're focusing on the one sort of issue, the conflict, but we're not really allowed to do much else than that. Like, there's not really much else that's supposed to be going on, so we don't really have much in the way of side plots and things. But, I
I
mean,
think that.
The,
straight out says that no side plots that don't relate to the main conflict. I
which,
think
yeah, yeah,
stifles.
it does, it does. It's stifling. But I mean, I can understand that somebody might want the story that they're trying to get across to be the story that's, important. But I mean, the no side plots to me seems like it's just a little bit. It makes it hard to do a lot of things.
I mean, I can understand him wanting to limit everything
Hmm.
to the conflict because obviously I came up with the quest for the keys and the talisman, the Dragon King, and I will admit that I was somewhat hurt when that became almost completely overshadowed by the shades and the services and whatnot.
Hmm. I,
But
I know this is a little bit weird, but I mean, please tell me I wasn't alone in not liking the services. I didn't like them as an idea. They just bothered me. Magic science.
well, when they were first introduced, if one could call it that, by Lyman Bettman in the early comics, I had no idea what was going on with them. So I was pretty much ignoring them up until they became important. And
Hmm. I guess, that's always an option is to ignore something before until it just sort of, is important and does affect your character. I mean, some people might actually do that too, so it's not really that far off.
yes,
I
and I'm
mean,
not sure that it really fits the setting at all. I mean, well,
we have everything in the setting, but I mean, it seems a little odd.
yes,
It was the
and
feel, I think, not the actual thing itself.
I I typically dislike characters of absolute power, which is in part why I dislike having the services around because they seem to be godly powerful, even if you want to defeat the United Nations of Avril on Avril, you've got this whole space empire out there that's uh, over 9,000 times as powerful as anything on Avril. And then you've also got three shades which have absolute plot power
Mm,
to do anything. So
I remembered that there were some arguments caused by both things at the time, even because I mean, I'm probably one of maybe not but probably one of the newer sort of the later of the newcomers. Like I was before a lot of the people who've come in new, but still new. It's hard to explain, but you know how bad I am explaining things. But I mean, like I came in around when the Vendetta like was still flying, and like I remember that there were a lot of arguments going on around, especially how much plot power the Vendetta and Three Shades had, and I remember almost like I mean people didn't really catch it, but almost in spite, I launched myself onto the Vendetta just to get around the whole you can't teleport onto it thing. I just launched right into it. And it was like, I was actually planning on getting in there, but then it was like, okay, whatever. I don't think I could catch up with all the stuff that's going on, so I just dropped myself and joined back in later on. uh, I wasn't sure I wanted to be in there when everything was exploding. But, with your characters, what do you think about when you're making them and, running them?